Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where and when you're listening to. This is Kevin. This is Coffee with Kevin. I am Kevin, and this is my coffee. Mm-mm-mm. Yes, it says Merry Christmas. This was one of my Christmas gifts. What better Christmas gift than a coffee mug for Kevin, who has coffee with Kevin? It's so much fun. This holiday weekend, this Christmas weekend was so much fun. Most people will say it's so stressful. And I gotta say, having I think we had somewhere over 20 people come to the house, not all at once, but we had for dinner. I think we had 12, 13 people for dinner, and then lots of people drop in afterwards. It was absolutely fun, absolutely stressful if I looked at it that way, but I didn't. I looked at it the way as, hey, I'm seeing people, my nieces, my grand nieces and grand nephews, and just it's so much fun to reconnect with people you haven't seen in a long, long time. And yes, Coffee with Kevin. I am celebrating all of this big weekend. Yes, did I wake up Monday mornings like, oh my God? Yeah, I hardly drank, but I felt like a hangover. But just from everything that was going on, and everything else. But it was worth it. It certainly was. Mm. And it's worth it to get a nice hot cup of coffee, a nice hot cuppa, and enjoy this day. Now, I still have happy holidays in it because we have another holiday, don't we? We have New Year's coming next Sunday. It's going to be 2023. Oh my gosh. Looking at some of my grandnieces and nephews, and actually, I can't believe, I saw them when they were babies. I can't believe how much they've grown. But actually, their parents, I saw and held when they were babies. So it's an amazing thing when time flies by and you look and say, oh my gosh, how has so much time flew by? And it's wonderful to see these people growing up, see my own children growing up as much as they have. This is 2023 coming. It's a new year. Throughout the year this year, I talked about the fact that you don't need excuses to set your goals or reset your goals and start looking at what you want. You don't need those excuses. However, you have an excuse this coming weekend. You have an excuse. You have New Year's Day 2023. What are you going to do? What are you looking forward to in New Year's? We talk about goal setting a lot throughout a lot of things, and some people, with New Year's, you talk about resolutions. Let's throw resolutions out the window with the bathwater. Let's throw it out the window because resolutions has a stigma to it. I make a New Year's resolution, and 2 weeks in, sometimes one weekend, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Let's just talk about them as goals. Let's talk about them as goals. And I'll tell you, when I go through life in certain periods of life when I don't have my goals, I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. And of course, I'm not getting anywhere because I don't have any direction to go in. I don't have anything that I'm moving towards. So I may be moving, but I'm not moving in any way I want. Uh, in the book Allison, yeah, that this is really only coffee. I truthful, it's only coffee. Alice in Wonderland. Alice comes to a fork in the road, and I believe it's the rabbit. And she says, "Which way should I go?" And he says, well, where do you want to go? She says, I don't know. He says, then it doesn't matter. You'll get there. When you don't know, when you don't know where you're going, life is a lot tougher on you because it's like being on a sailboat where you don't have a keel, you don't have the ability to control the sails. You're off to you're going to go wherever the tide goes you or wherever the wind brings you. Do you feel like that sometimes in life? You're going and being brought to wherever life brings you, and the wind and the tide, those are those external things that are happening to you that you have no control over. And you just let it bring you wherever it brings you. It sounds nice. It sounds like, okay, I'll just ride the wave of life. But you don't even get a chance to get near where you want to be, where you want to go. A lot of you say, well, you know what? I don't think about it. I don't think about it. I just go and do my work and get up in the morning and do the things I need to do with the family, with the house, whatever it is, and just do that every single day. Well, the problem is you do that every single day, you wake up 5 years later and say, huh, what has happened? How come I'm the same? How come I'm the same? If that has happened to you, it's time to stop. It's time to start anew. It's time to start thinking about, okay, this is what I want out of life. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to go. And if you don't have goals, if you can't think of goals, just sit down for 5, 10 minutes. Let your mind relax. Take some deep stomach breaths for a minute or so. And then with a pad of paper, piece of paper and a pen, start writing down your dreams. It would be really cool if it would be really cool if I could do this. If it would be really cool if I could get this. It would be really cool if this happened. Doesn't matter how extraordinary they are. It'd be really cool if I could get a seat on SpaceX, by the way, not on their spaceships that go around the Earth, but I believe that it's that company that has these helium balloons that bring you up into the atmosphere, and those are a lot cheaper than the others. Of course, for most people, that's $50,000. But if you were to say, it'd be really cool if I ever got to do that, and you start investigating and you start looking at it and you start saying, okay, it's going to cost this much. How many years can I save up to get this? Because they're not available yet. They'll be available, I think, this year, next year. Even if it's that wild, saying I'd like to be in the atmosphere, get up in the atmosphere. Maybe I'm not an astronaut, but maybe I'm just a passenger. Even if it's that wild, or if it's, well, I'd like to, I've always thought about moving to Arizona. Yeah, I'd like to move to Arizona. Start investigating, start looking at it, start imagining it, start fantasizing about it, and then create a plan. If it's really for you. So spend some time, put down, no matter how ridiculous it is, what would be cool if this would happen to you? What would be cool if you were able to do this or that? And put it down. Oh, thank you, Larry. Larry says, this is where I'd want to be every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Good morning. It is, thank you very much. Best wishes to you for the New Year's. It is just so awesome. It is just so awesome to be here. It's so awesome to be here with, excuse me, with my cup of coffee, of course. Yum, yum, and yum. Well, what I want for you is to start getting some direction in your life. And sometimes, when you're in my position, when you're helping people, get what they want out of life, when you're helping people become who they want to be, sometimes the words that I say to them, I have to listen to for myself. And so you can bet that I will be writing down goals this week. I will be writing down where I want to be, where I want to go, what I want to do, who I want to become this week. Because it's been a little while for me as well. And like I said, when I go about without having really specific goals in my life, I find myself wandering. I find myself, oh, it's great that I got here, but I really didn't push to get here. I kind of just landed. I got lucky. I got lucky that sailboat kind of just landed in the place I wanted to be. Maybe I was paddling with my hands a little bit once in a while. But when I or you know what you want and you've written it down, write it down, by the way, it's a magical thing. Nobody can figure this out. Why writing down your goals, I mean, pen and paper, why writing down your goals is so important. Somehow you engage yourself at a much deeper level. Somehow you engage yourself in your body, and somehow when you're writing them down, your mind says, oh, I got this. You can write down 10 goals, do the goal setting right, write down 10 goals, put the paper in a drawer, and next year at this time, you'll find out you probably will have achieved more than half of those because you wrote them down. Because they get in, it's like indelible ink, because they sink deep into your mind. But write them down. I don't say put them in the drawer. Write them down. Put them where you can look at them, and you'll have even a greater chance of achieving them. You will have control over that sail. You will have control over that keel in your sailboat, and you'll be directing where your life will go. I can't overstate the importance of getting your goals, writing them down, getting them clear. Do it this week. Do it before the first. They're not resolutions. They're not the, oh, I'm gonna drop 10 pounds, or I'm gonna drop 20 pounds. Oh, I'm gonna eventually quit smoking. That stuff, by the way, because you waited till the new year, you're not really serious about it. Otherwise, you would have said, okay, I'm starting now. I'm not waiting till the first. That's a problem with resolutions. Most of us wait till the New Year's to do them, and we wait till the first to even start on them. And then it's usually after the first, because New Year's is a day of celebration, and so with celebration comes lots of food, lots of everything. So even putting that off even more says, hey, I'm not really serious about it. That's a problem with the way we treat resolutions. I want you to set your own objectives for yourself and get serious about them. Write them down. Goals are supposed to be written as SMART goals, and I'll give you this slow down really really quick. SMART, the very first thing, is the most important thing. Specific. S for specific. And why it's important is because, well, I want to make more money. I want to do more of this. I want to work out more. I want to lose some weight. They're not specific. They're not specific. And why they need to be specific is because all of those are really stated softly, and your mind can say, yeah, more money. We'll make an extra. We'll make an extra couple $100 at the end of the year. Now, you want to be specific. How much more money? What is your weight? What do you want your weight down, to be at? How many times a week do you want to work out? Whatever it is, be specific. Make it something that's measurable. If you're getting specific, you can tell if you're moving towards that goal, so it's measurable. And make it something that is achievable. I know I talked about going up to the atmosphere in a balloon. Now, that is going to be achievable for people. That's going to be achievable for people because it is something that is being formulated now. It is something that can be done. It has been done. And, granted, you know, people who really, really, really want to do this, they can take a second mortgage on their house. You got to look at whether your goal, and that's a really good thing to think about your goals, because there's going to be things you're going to have to work towards your goals, and you look at the what you're going to do, and is the sacrifice going to be worth the goal? For instance, would it be worth you taking a second mortgage on your house to get the $50,000 to go up into the atmosphere? Would it be worth that? You know, for some of us, maybe. For some of us, maybe. Is it going to be worth the extra work you're going to have to put in to get that degree at nighttime? All right. Is it going to be worth the extra work to start a business and the risk to start a business? You got to look at that too. Every goal we go towards, every goal we want to go towards, we have to look at, okay, is the sacrifice, is the work we're going to put into it going to be worth the end result? Most of the time it is. Most of the time, sacrifice is not that bad. Most of the time, you can have that balance in your life. So you also look at that when you're thinking about, is it achievable? Is it something I really want? Is it realistic? Realistic and achievable almost together, because the last one is timed. Is it realistic that I can drop 20 pounds in a month? Right? That may not be realistic. Is it realistic I can drop 20 pounds? Absolutely. But I'm going to give it a time frame, right? I'm going to give it a time frame. And why I give it a time frame is because I can't just leave it out there and say, hey, I'm going to drop 10, 20 pounds, or I'm going to make $10,000 more, and not say by this time. So make your goals smart. But start off, like I said, if you haven't done goal setting before or haven't done it in a long time, just sit down for 10 minutes and say, it'd be really cool if I could do this. It'd be really cool if I could get this. It'd be really cool if I could be this. Do that. And it will be really cool when you get there. All right, this has been Coffee with Kevin, and it is still Christmas time. In a lot of the Christian churches, this is actually from this week to next week. This is actually a holy time of the year. So it's the Christ was born on Christmas. And then you have the actual time when the Magi go to the baby Jesus. So it's a not just a day event, it's a timed event. So over a period of time. So I can still celebrate Christmas. I can still celebrate Christmas. Okay, one last thing. What weird things, what terrible things, what wild things happened to you this weekend? Okay, you can reach out to me, write it in the comments of this, because I'd like to know. Because I'll tell you what happened the day before we had all those people at our house. We had lights out on. We lost our power on Friday with this big windstorm that we had here in the Northeast. We lost it for 6.5 hours. We went to bed. It was dark. We went to bed early because there was nothing to do. Lights came on somewhere afterwards. But the next morning, the next day when I went to light the tree wouldn't light up. And then we had to spend about an hour figuring out what would light, what wouldn't light. And then we had all the bottom of the tree wasn't lit. And I said, I can't have people come into the house and not have a beautiful tree that we had. And we had to spend another half an hour or so pulling out the lights that wouldn't, because when we pulled out the lights, we had to pull, the garland was on top of it, the balls were, all the decorations were on top of it, and then putting more lights on. And it was almost a disaster. To me, the tree was what we wanted to have people enjoy, and they did, and especially the kids enjoyed it because we had the presents under the tree. So that was a little disaster that came up right before the people came, but we got it. So I want to hear from you. Did you have any special moments, any frightening moments, any great moments this weekend, this holiday weekend for Christmas or Hanukkah if you celebrated Hanukkah as well? The whole Hanukkah is also a miracle, like Christmas is a miracle. Hanukkah is a miracle, or celebrating a miracle um, of 8 days of lamps being lit, waiting upon something important, where there was only one day of oil. If I have that wrong, I apologize. You can correct me as well. All right, everyone. This has been Coffee. This has been Coffee with Kevin, and this coffee is so enjoyable. Mm. This has been Coffee with Kevin. That was my coffee, and I am Kevin. Another exciting thing coming up, and you can absolutely reach out and ask me about it, is next week we are launching the new company, finally, Center for Next Level Performance, CNLP. And those of you that know me know I love this last three letters, NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. It's not what it stands for in the company. We are brain-based mindset coaches. Awesome. Awesome words to describe what we do. But what we do is help people make the changes that they need to become the people that they want, to get to that next level that they want. You can do that too. Take care, everyone. Have a great week. Don't forget, look at what you want for the new year. Write it down. Make a plan. Take care.